So let me show you this really cool way to play rhythm guitar. We're just in G. Yeah, no, so don't listen to that guy. Instead, we're gonna take the same concept, same chords, but play it like this instead. So that's still rhythm guitar playing. It just sounds a little bit more interesting because we're adding the pentatonics, which you should already know, but also something called double stops. So in this lesson, I'm gonna show you how to become a great guitar player with these techniques. And by the way, if you like this kind of content, they know you want them to subscribe. He's probably right. But I should let you know that I do teach private lessons over Zoom. And if you want more information about that, just shoot me an email at jesseglickmusic@gmail.com. Anyways, my name's Jesse Glick. This is a 5-Minute Monday. Let's get into it. Okay, so a lot of my students want to learn rhythm guitar, and the truth is rhythm guitar playing can be really fun, and we can also add a lot of lead guitar playing concepts over it. So like I mentioned in the beginning of this lesson, the first thing that we need to do is get comfortable with our pentatonics, and then we'll talk about double stops. So I'm sure if we're in the key of G, many of you will know that we can use this pentatonic shape to play over G. Now this is the E minor pentatonic scale. But you should also know that there's a pentatonic scale shape under every single chord that you play. So for this lesson, if I'm playing a G major bar chord like this, we're actually going to focus on the pentatonic scale that sits right under that. So that looks like this. So with that in mind, anytime you're playing a G major bar chord or a bar chord in this position, you can play that scale underneath it to get some really interesting rhythm sounds. For example, if I just play a G chord and then I play the pentatonic, maybe I'll do it in a little bit more of a rhythmic way. So that's kind of step one. Now I want to make it clear that this is a movable pattern. So if I'm playing this like a G major bar chord and this is the E shape, if we're talking about the cage system, everything I just did is movable. So instead what I'll do, I'll move to a C major, same chord position, the scale still works here for C. Meaning I could play rhythm in C and do the same thing. So that's baseline. Now let's talk about a way more interesting idea, which is using double stops. Now double stops really are just playing two notes at the same time on an instrument. So what we're gonna do is experiment with playing two notes of those pentatonic scales at the same time. Here's what I mean. I'm gonna take that same G chord, but I'm gonna play double stops. So now what I'm gonna do is play these two notes, and then I'm actually gonna hammer on to the 5th fret of the B string. So I have this. And then we can lift it up too. So if I'm playing a G chord, I can go like this. So that's baseline, and it still sounds pretty boring. So how can we spice it up? For the theory nerds out there, you might realize that when I do this, I'm actually just playing a quick C chord. So it's really me going like, but I'm just playing the 3rd of the C. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna play a D chord and then create a double stop out of that. But what we need to do is we're gonna take these two notes of a D chord, and then we need to play them with these two fingers like this. So that's index on the A note, 2nd fret of the G string, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then we're gonna hammer on with our ring finger to the 4th fret of the G string. And then we can also lift up. We can also hit our root note on the D string, 5th fret. So in total we would have. Knowing this stuff is really awesome, but it can sound very repetitive if we use it all the time. So what we need to do now is take a different style, different chord shape, and implement the pentatonic scale with that. So let's show another really common example. we're going to play our G chord, the A-shaped G chord. So that means our index is rooted on the 10th fret of the A string, like that. And for this pattern, we are going to borrow from our G major pentatonic scale right here. So that starts on the 14th fret. And what we're going to do, we're going to play the chord. And then we have this really awesome maneuver to get into this shape. We're going to hammer on to the 12th fret and then slide another whole step. So it's this. And then we can plant our index finger on the 12th fret, and we have all this ability to hammer on this pentatonic scale underneath, like this. So I could play this chord, then I'll hit the next note. Again, like everything we're doing in this lesson, this is movable. So if I want to take this shape and play a C chord, I'll do the exact same thing. I'm going to hammer on, slide up, and then play the pentatonic underneath. So that would sound like this. So the possibilities are really endless with just these two chord shapes, and I would challenge you to figure out the rest of the major chords and find the pentatonic scales underneath them and start playing some double stops. You might get to the point, for example, where you're playing a C chord, and you realize you could play the whole pentatonic scale in double stops, which would sound like this. So give that stuff a try and add it to your rhythm playing. It's going to make you start sounding a lot more like a piano player would. They have the ability to play chords with their left hand and do these pentatonic kind of double stops with their right hand. So as guitar players, we kind of have to play rhythm and lead at the same time a lot of times. I'm doing these 5-minute Monday videos every single Monday totally for free. So if you made it this far, consider subscribing to the channel and leave a comment if there's something that you want to learn. I'd love to hear your feedback. By the way, I am teaching private lessons over Zoom with students all over the world that found me through YouTube. So if you want to learn from me, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to help you out. But for now, my name's Jesse Glick. That was a 5-Minute Monday, and I'll see you in the next one.